Well, what's up, Chick Chat? We're back live. We
Hi.
just watched or suffered through or whatever the last drop of Love is Blind that came out literally this morning. So here we are to talk about it.
Yes, we're happy to be here. I mean, this was better than 7 hours of the pods. Whew.
Yeah, I know. I sometimes I make sure the audio is good. But
Yes.
yeah. So okay, so we start off this season. We start off this episode drop, I should say, back to where we left off with Daniel and Taylor.
Yeah.
And Taylor is overthinking it. She really thought that she saw him on social media, like that he followed her and then unfollowed her. The whole Saga thing continues. And
It was a nothing burger as suspected.
That's exactly what I thought. It was just going to be a big nothing burger, and that we were going to find out that he really didn't follow her. Because really, what are the odds? And even if he did at one point, how is he really going to know she went on Love is Blind? Like if they never spoke before. So even if he had all that info about her, for him to now know her voice via wall and then be able to remember her entire bio, which apparently is just about Christmas. And Christmas is it's a holiday that everybody likes, or most people like. It's a very commonly beloved holiday. So
yeah, well, that's why I think it is a possibility maybe that he did follow her and unfollow her, and he left it open that it was a possibility that he did that, but not that he did that knowing she was going to be on Love is Blind and then knew who she was and then had this whole plan, which I think is really, that would be kind of crazy. So I understand why she wouldn't feel very safe with that, but I never really thought that was happening. I'm glad that production did come out and offer her phone.
Oh yeah.
I had to rewind and put on subtitles for what was said. She said something like, "If you wish to find the answers you seek, we'll give you your cell phone." This was so and weird.
That was
Do you remember that? Didn't she say it like that?
She kind of did. She's like, "We will let you look just this one time." This woman comes out of nowhere. And Blue says maybe if a producer followed him before the show and then he snooped through their follows. Possible. Either way, I don't think he made a plan to date her. I don't either. I just think that's too convenient, like otherwise he's a mastermind. Like we're not talking about Uche and Lydia here. Like they actually dated and had a conversation, like these people don't know each other. So it'd be weird. Like I think he was so confused, like, and that's why he kind of left it open-ended, because he's a guy on Instagram. Like if a guy sees a pretty girl on Instagram, sometimes they follow them. And then so it's possible. But it seems like when she got her phone back and actually looked through whatever app she has, she said she had an app that you could check who's following. Is that what she said?
Yeah, I don't really Instagram, so I don't know.
See, I Instagram, but I didn't know about this app, so that's pretty interesting to me. But I don't stalk my own profile like that, but
so I don't think she could find him or could find the guy with the Christmas tree in the background, because she was just scrolling and scrolling. She's like, wow, a lot of people are unfollowing me.
Well, I'm sure that turned around for you now, girl. But
I'm sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't
think there was some drama about Love is Blind filming within the city, kind of behind the scenes, because there was all of what's his name's, is it Dave?
Yeah.
All of Dave's friends were having conversations, and then at the end we have that cliffhanger about somebody who, had a video. So it seems that it was known that Love is Blind was around and they were filming people. It feels like a really small town for such a big city.
Yeah, it's strange because you would think a lot of these people wouldn't even know the other person is on there. But then again, if they have mutual friends or something, all it really takes is like one of their friends to be like, oh yeah, they went on that show, and then the word kind of spread. So I guess tomato, because it seems like David and Lauren especially were like 3 degrees separation from each other. Like they
Yeah.
had full contacts and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Somehow never knew of each other.
Yeah. So that's why I think it's very possible that in this situation, Daniel maybe did possibly follow Taylor, but I don't think it was ever his intention to know what she looked like or know what anyone looked like on the show and then choose the hottest girl or whatever. And I'm glad he ended up kind of saying something a certain way, like, even if I saw you and I knew I saw you on Instagram, I would have told the producers because that's not what I came here for. So that felt reassuring to me. I mean, obviously that's what you want to hear, but it seemed like it came from a genuine, intention from him.
I get a genuine vibe from him. I mean, like he said, his sister is blind, and I think he really went into this experience trying to honor that in a way.
Yeah.
So, and his family seems really genuine as well. I kind of, so if N Blue's theory with the producer thing, that could be just because we do know that Daniel was reached out to. He didn't sign up for it. Like he was reached out to by producers. And I remember him saying that in one of the episodes. So, but basically, to wrap all that up, she gets comfortable with the idea of them going to Honduras. So they end up going to Honduras. But he did tell her, if you don't feel comfortable and you just want to go back and that's how you want to do it, I'll do that. And I just love how reassuring he was. He was really calm. I don't know. I believe him. Maybe
he was reassuring with everything that was going on with her father as well, health-wise, if anything were to happen, that he was kind of committed to her. And I know that could have been spun in a weird way, like, I'll find you because I have your Instagram. But I think he was really, I think he cares about her. I think he came to Love is Blind to find a wife, and that's what he's doing. A wife. And that's what he's doing. So they agree to go on vacation together. I don't even know if she found any evidence for or against. They didn't seem to really confirm or deny anything on her phone, but at some point it seems like just his calmness and his reassurance of do whatever you need to do sort of just gave her enough confidence to move forward.
Yeah. So. And you were saying she did an interview recently where it pretty much seemed like this was going to be a nothing burger because she was very nice about him. She seems pretty in love with him. I honestly think they're going to be the ones that get married, to be real. But
I think by the end of this, they prove to be one of the strongest couples at this point in the episodes, especially after the meeting with their family. I mean, I know that we're kind of skipping right over the vacation and we can pop back over there, but I think the biggest thing that came out of these episodes with them was the meeting with both their families one-on-one, but especially with both of their families together. I thought that it was really such a beautiful thing to see two long-standing marriages that are, they're rooted in similar values as well. It's not going to be a difficulty for them to, all have hurdles to try to get by. It seems like everyone is really on the same page already, and they're going to be there to support their marriage 100%.
Yeah, and her mom was
after they get over the hurdles, of course, like the scariness. The parents are all a little sus. But as far as, I guess, as far as religion and values and things like that, I think their parents are going to do everything they can to support that marriage stays together if they do say I do at the end of this. I think they'll be together as long as any of them.
Yes.
Yes.
I guess we'll kind of finish them out. Because honestly, I don't have much else with them. I mean, they were pretty unproblematic these last 3 episodes. I mean, really, the beginning of the 7th episode is really where they had issues. But they're fun for me to watch. I actually really enjoy them.
Yeah, I always liked them. That's why I was worried they weren't going to make it to vacation, because I really like Taylor. I keep wanting to call her Paige for some reason. I really like
a Paige. I don't feel like it's hard for me to call her Taylor. So I'm glad that he said something, because I feel like she has a different name, but that's her name.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. Yeah. But Taylor. So yeah, I think I don't even remember what I was saying now because I forgot
It's
about
okay.
her. I forgot about her name. Oh, I do remember though. I thought on vacation it was kind of funny that were they not pooping in front of each other? Was that the thing?
I
The
think in the pods they must have talked about like going to the bathroom or something because she's like, "Do you want me to run water while you pee?" And it's like, it's just pee. Like,
well, they had a code word or something for them
yeah,
to take a walk.
I guess.
I know people do that. I know people try to keep a lot of mystery for a really long time. I'm not saying it's highly unusual, especially, gosh, they literally just met each other. And hotel rooms can be brutal when it comes to going to the bathroom. Actually, the one me and my husband were just on our honeymoon in December. And not only was there a giant window in the bathroom through to the bedroom, which I loved. It was in the shower, it was fine, and the toilet part was private. But the toilet part wasn't private enough that there was a wall and a door or anything. And what was worse was that the ventilation system for this hotel room was not electric. It was just built into the wall of the outside.
So you could hear
And
each other doing
so
everything.
we could just hear anything, and it was echoey and loud. So I had like white noise going on while I was playing YouTube videos and I'm like, bop, bop, bop.
And y'all are married.
I know, but it's just like you don't really, I get it. I get it, I guess.
I do want to say, when we do see the Lachey's in Minneapolis, which I still think is like a green screen or something, I don't know why they come in just to stand on a rock for 5 seconds, but it was funny to me because I think it was Nick Lachey was like, let's see, you know how they're always like, oh, well, this and this and this get in the way, and he brings up race, and I was like, who's affected by race in this situation? Everybody's with the same race. Why would race ever be a problem here? You got all these white people, and then you got one racial couple, and they are together. So what do you mean?
I think that's just the script that they use every season, but they forgot to take that part out because it's so vanilla this season.
I was like, what do you mean?
And then, well, I mean, not just vanilla, but also, the other couple, they're both black. So
yeah. And I was like, that's interesting. All right, Lachey's, but
I mean, I guess Devin is mixed, but that wouldn't be such a big deal with them too.
Maybe
as
with
much
his
as
parents.
Devin's parents.
I
don't know.
Speaking of Devin and Virginia, we'll get into them first. They were honestly really problematic, and I'm not gonna lie, like I fell asleep at one point during these episodes. They really were not that entertaining. I mean, these few episodes, not them specifically, but I just mean the episodes.
Well, you probably fell asleep to her voice. She does that soothing mama voice type of thing. They did poke a little fun, these two, at an age gap that they have. I think it's 5 or 6 years or something. It's not ridiculous. But they do poke a little fun at that, about how they probably like the same style of music but different artists, which I don't think 5 years you really do, but I think he was just calling her old. And instead of calling her old, he calls himself young.
It's a good choice of words.
He's nice. I like them.
I do. I think they're actually a really cute couple. I think they look like they're supposed to be together, you know? So
I think we're going to have a lot of marriages. I'm not saying all. There are a couple that we'll get into here. But I think we're going to have more than the 1, 2
the last
that
couple
we've been having the last couple seasons. We might have 3, maybe even 4 if some people are feeling crazy that day.
Possible
or none. I mean, I don't know. I'm always wrong. So we'll be interested to hear all of your thoughts on that, of course.
So they had an unproblematic vacation. It doesn't seem like a lot of these couples even hooked up, although David went on a survey to see who hooked up and who didn't, but we'll get to that.
That was probably the biggest drama, aside from 1 or 2 other little points. But yes, we will get to that. It does sound like both of these two confirmed to David after being interrogated that they have not hooked up yet. I don't know if they have by the end of these episodes, because we do end up in Minneapolis. So maybe they have by the time they get home or whatever, but they had not on vacation. I think the meetup was the last day.
Yeah. So I don't think that they hooked up there, but I do think eventually, probably. But
Yeah, it seems like I don't think. Yeah, I wouldn't put a huge pressure on that. I personally, I would want to do that before I got married because there's nothing that there's no barrier with
yeah, the
values or
close
religion to me for that. But I
fit.
wouldn't want it probably to happen the first night unless it was really a, you know,
I mean, you're just meeting them. They're still
that a
kind of like
really
a stranger in a way. Like,
passionate kind of thing. Yeah, but yeah, if it feels like they're a stranger, then let it take a while and build up intimacy and stuff. Like Virginia said, there's a lot of ways to get to know each other, and for a lot of, I think, women especially, you have to really feel, connected to want to do that. And I
well,
know they built a connection through this wall, but then they become a stranger face. And
yeah.
that's what you're hooking up with is
Well, like
the physical
emotionally,
person.
they're not a stranger, but physically they are. So it's just
Right.
a
You
weird.
gotta, yeah, you gotta let it all kind of simmer together
Mhm.
and marry and groove. So
Mhm.
I support taking some time.
They both
Um,
had really nice places. He had like a ton of shoes. I mean, he has that shoe addiction. We actually have a friend of ours, her boyfriend has the same kind of shoe addiction, like a wall of
exactly
shoes.
the same way. Yeah.
Exactly. So that
Hmm.
was kind of fun. But
It was
yeah,
funny to see.
they did talk about getting a prenup. And this is the first time I've ever heard about a prenup on Love is Blind. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong. It's been 8 seasons now, so we could be missing somebody.
Like
Or
Barnett
maybe,
probably should have got one, but
I mean, there's a couple people who probably should have gotten one, but
I
what's her
mean, they're
name?
still
Liv
together.
Tyler should have gotten one. I mean, I don't know if she has anything, but damn.
Oh, yes, definitely. At least,
Ash,
Barnett and Amber are still together. But yeah, I definitely think Ashley and Tyler maybe should have got one, but I don't know what they
of
got going on.
course. Yeah. I'm not gonna normalize it as much as she was trying to normalize it and say it's just the thing to do nowadays, because I don't necessarily think it's just a thing to do. But I don't think it should have such a bad negative.
Connotation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it means I'm going into it thinking we're going to get divorced, but I think
It's
just the
just,
way that she presented it, I think was perfect.
mhm.
And she also sold it to him so well. She's all like, "Oh, well, when you have your empire, you don't want me taking your empire away because I'm mad at you." I'm like,
Yeah.
girl, you are a saleswoman. I don't remember what her occupation actually is, but she's a saleswoman. She's definitely gonna make $1 million somehow.
Yes.
But I do like the way that she put it of, we leave with what we came with and then we decide in advance when we're on good terms how we want to split the rest of it, not when we're in a
When you're
bad space with each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah. No, I
So I
like
think
them.
that's smart.
And I like them. I believe in love and basketball, so I think that they can work. I'm just
So Love
curious.
and Basketball was the other couple.
Yeah, but she's the love and he's the basketball.
But that's not the movie, but okay, fine.
Anyways, so we're gonna move on to one of my favorites, Fabio and Monica, which
Mm-hmm.
they were really high energy. Like when they're together, it is just high energy. Like especially when they first went on the vacation, they were kind of just bantering all the time. It was kind of even hard for me to keep up with half of what they were going on about because they were just really high energy. Then they come back, they get to the apartment, and they talk about the sock bin. And
They had a lot to. I learned a lot about these two individuals because I
yeah,
feel like I didn't know anything about them after the pods. They were one of the first to get engaged, and then usually those people
yes,
drop off the face of the planet after they get engaged. So we just barely saw them for almost 5 episodes. So I was happy to see them back. They're pretty entertaining.
yeah. I think they're fun. When they were like talking in that apartment about his OCD, they were talking about her family's weird sock fetish. And I liked them. When they went to go see her family, I was cracking up. This family is funny. They were all outside like waving them down with the fire, and then they all go inside. They start playing instruments. I'm like, is mayonnaise an instrument? And they just were going crazy on the cowbell and everything. And
it was wild.
it was that, yeah, it was
I
strange.
actually sat right over there on that couch and just watched the TV with my jaw open and smiling in a good way. I don't know if I've ever watched reality TV and couldn't close my mouth, but it was a good thing. I was like, this is precious.
You were
and
looking like
weird.
Carolyn.
It was so weird and so cute. I couldn't understand it. They were all just, mid conversation. You're expecting these hard hitting questions. They're about to get married. And then mom's just like, it's time for a good old fashioned family cha cha.
And then Monica was mortified. She was
I
like,
would
"Are you
be too. Do you think? Oh my God. He was down for it, of course.
Yeah, he's a good sport." But then they started talking about how her sister's boyfriend initially was getting at her first, and then she's like, "I actually think you'd be better for my sister." And I think when he poked a couple jokes at that, the sister, she didn't laugh. She just did not like this guy, and you could tell.
This sister has major jealousy issues, and Joey knows it. And the
I agree with
problem
him.
with that is that the sister is now going to make it like Joey caused all the problems. But the sister has always been the problem
Yeah.
and will always be the problem. And this sister is toxic AF.
Oh, she is. And then it was when they were sitting out there talking about, oh, he's not your type. You like a 6 foot tall Italian man. What the hell do you think Fabio is? What do you think Fabio is? A 6 foot tall Italian man.
I know. I actually laughed out loud when she said that. I understand that Joey's not Italian. He actually speaks like he might as well be Canadian or a Youper.
He's
It's wild.
Minnesotan.
And for people who aren't from Michigan, a Youper is people from the Upper Peninsula, the UP, Youper. I don't know. But they do all talk like Joey with this really, I don't know what it is. But it's so funny. I could listen to Joey talk forever. It's almost as good as a British accent.
Yeah, but it was he kind of sounds like Shane in a way. When
Oh,
if you
yeah.
hear him just talk, he sounds like Shane from season 2.
Yep.
But he's definitely a lot better than Shane from season 2. But I was like, girl, what else is a 6 foot Italian man but Fabio? I think that sounds like just her type.
Well, so, okay, I'm wondering, and this is just a shot in the dark here, but I think Trevor was a really big deal, probably around the time that this was being filmed. And he sort of looks like a Trevor. And because it really caught me off guard when the sister was like, I could see him being a really good actor. It's like, where do you get that people just walk around and be actors all the time? I know they're filming a reality show, and some of these people maybe have ulterior intentions, but I think that they are, maybe I'm dumb, but I think that they are sussing them out enough to know that they all want to get married if they're there, or they all have intentions to get married if things work in that direction.
Well, he's a damn good actor if he's acting the entire time. It's
true. I guess Trevor didn't have those intentions, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, and I get that the TV aspect of it makes it seem like he could be acting. But then again, you kind of have to trust your sister. I mean, it's her life. If she wants to go get married to a homeless man, like there's not much you can do.
That's very true. I mean, but you might sit down and have a conversation with her, such as this one. But I don't think there's as much merit to have a conversation such as this with Joey. Joey seems like a great guy to me. I know we're in reality TV show land, and they are not quite yet in reality. And after that, they're going to be married. That's a reason to be concerned, but she seems overly judgmental and critical. And then she brought up this weird thing about, well, you can't get married because I'm not married yet. And I was like, ha, That's your effing problem right there. You
Yep.
can't approve of Joey because if you approve of Joey, then she's going to get married because they're perfect for each other. And then you're going to be the sister that didn't get married. And guess what? Not everything is about you. You already took
your
the girl's
boyfriend
damn boyfriend.
And who wanted your sister first?
I don't understand that. This is such a weird dynamic, these sisters. And poor Joey, read my lips, all three of you. Poor Joey is going to
All three of you
fall on the sword for this sister because the sister is going to make his life really hard.
Mm-hmm. She is. So she's going to try.
Real hard.
Yeah, I agree with that. But, you know, what wasn't hard for me was the sock bin. I thought that was the funniest damn thing. They actually go and look at this sock bin, and there's every sock you could ever imagine.
True.
Like, all different varieties.
How in the world can you have such, like, a sister that is so kind of, I don't know, she seems kind of grumpy to me.
And then share socks with her.
Share socks with her. Be jangle-angling maracas with her. Maybe that's why these two sisters don't get along so well, because every time they argue, these parents are just like, let's do maracas.
I thought her parents were really fun. I loved her.
I loved them, but if that's their way of dealing with difficult topics, that might explain why this big sister is not emotionally competent.
Mm-hmm. I think she didn't like Joey the moment he walked in, but I think he made it worse when he made a joke about the boyfriend, because she didn't laugh at all. Everyone else was laughing, and she was just bitch face. And you know what? You got to be able to poke fun at stuff. If you're going to date your sister's DM man, you're going to have to make a joke about it.
Very much agreed. I did kind of think it was uncomfortable, though, because it seems like at some point there was a scene afterwards, and Monica brings up how it went well with everyone except for her sister. And it seems like she kind of makes it, I don't know, Joey's problem, kind of, or at least Joey's responsibility to try to have another conversation with her, which I get. I mean, they're about to be married, and she wants everyone to get along and like each other. But the sister, Joey asks, did I do anything wrong? Is there anything I can do better? And there's nothing that he can do better and nothing he did wrong. So it almost worries me if Joey were to try to have another conversation, that this sister would only try to prove her point more, because she doesn't have a point to prove. She doesn't have something to say, this is what's wrong with you. She's making things up out of thin air, making it mostly, I think, about her. So I don't see that going well for Joey, especially if it was one-on-one.
Well, and then, you know, she says, or Monica says, that her sister has never liked a single boyfriend, because Joey's like, let me ask you this. Has she liked any of your significant others? No. Well, if she's never liked a single significant other, then that means your sister is the one that has a problem here, I think.
That's when it sealed the deal for me, that she's jealous.
Mm-hmm. And that's what he said. I mean, he picked up on that too, and I think that that's pretty fair.
That's why I think he's going to fall on the sword with this whole thing, because now that he said this, he said it out loud, and it's out for the world to see. The sister's going to never admit to that, obviously.
Or like
but she's never going to like Joey. And Joey is right. And Joey is, I think, doing a good thing to try to help Monica see that, because that's not a healthy relationship for this sister, to manipulate Monica's life to make her feel better about her own life. Like, don't get married because I will feel like crap if my younger sister is married than me. That's not right. Yeah. None of these guys that could have all been great for her are good enough for you because I'm not married yet. That's really the problem. How yucky.
Well, and I just think it's really unfair to judge him like that. At least ask him more questions. You asked him a total of 4 questions on what we saw on Netflix.
I know, and I know it's not just that. They condense everything, but no, I totally agree. In just one conversation, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the sister. I hope Joey can overcome this sister problem. A lot of the sisters, what's going on?
Oh, I was reading the comment. I was trying to make sense of it.
Hey, user alien.
Hello, user alien. That lady hates us. The actress here. Maybe she. Do you mean she is the actress here? Because I could get behind that. She's the one that seems to have an issue, and yeah, not a fan of the sister right now. But
yeah,
I guess hopefully she comes around. I mean, I don't think, honestly, if it comes down to a sibling's perspective, if it comes down to the sibling having to sign off on it, nah. I mean, it's one thing when it's one of your parents, but your siblings will get over it. You know, my sister's dated many of people I did not like or care for, and you know what? You just got to deal with it.
This is a season of difficult siblings. I mean, I think.
Yeah.
What's his name? We're probably ready to. Are we going to move on to them next, or?
Yeah. Do you want to go to David, or should we do? Should we save them for later? Or should we go over to Ben here?
We'll go to Ben and Sarah. But yeah, season of difficult siblings for sure.
Oh, for sure. Here we'll go over to them. So Ben and Sarah, honestly, there's not much to say about them on the trip. I don't know. Do you remember anything about them on the trip? Honestly,
on the trip, they were really happy with the way each other looked. I mean, that's definitely what I remember from that. He said
as their friends said, they're both attractive people, so you know.
Yeah, he said something about it not being fair or whatever, that it's Love Is Blind because she's a smoke show. So I thought that was cute. I think they definitely had an opportunity during I think it's like a week or whatever on vacation to just solidify their connection with each other. It seemed like they came back home pretty happy, pretty loved up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's about it from their vacation.
I don't remember them getting surveyed about having actual intercourse or not by David, but I'm sure he did everybody, but
he was asking a lot of the women. Maybe that's just the way that the production was framing it, and he was probably, I'm sure, talking to everybody, because I know he talked to one of the guys at least about it. But
I think that was Devin, though. But yes,
Devin, yeah.
I mean, we see them meet each other's friends and stuff. I mean, there's really not much to say about them. They seem pretty okay.
I thought that his friends seemed to be pretty diverse for how vanilla they were making him seem the first batch of. I mean, obviously he's, vanilla, but he had a friend who was gay. He had friends that were more than white. I think that was more than what I thought he was going to be spending time around. So
yeah, I mean, he seems like a really good guy.
Didn't even what's the word when you're not religious? Agnostic?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, one of his friends was that.
Oh, yeah. So he also doesn't really consider himself religious. He just uses the word, he has faith. And, whatever, however you want to categorize things is fine. The real thing with them is the cliffhanger that they leave us on, which basically at the end of the episode, the last episode, we find out that there is a TikTok going around that one of his exes was crying all over and saying that, Love Is Blind is putting these men on a pedestal.
Have we seen this?
No, I haven't found that TikTok. I didn't look. I mean, we just watched the episode, so maybe I'll try to look for it while we're discussing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
have any of y'all seen this? Any of y'all foreseen this?
Well, so I know TikTok will sometimes show you like videos of people in the area. So I'm like, that video couldn't have been so popular that it just got around to everybody, right? Like,
well, it seemed like it was kind of circulating. It feels like there is a small network of people in this city, even though it's supposed to be some kind of big city.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if this is it. Hold on. This would be season 8. Hold on.
I'm literally typing crying girl.
I know. Does anybody know where to find that? This is. I thought all the TikToks were about a former baseball player, David.
Oh, I think I found it.
Okay, listen. And Blue says, I thought all the TikToks were about a former baseball player, David. So I was surprised that there seems to be one about Ben too. I'm just wondering.
This
How
one
do you-
says it's about Ben. I'm gonna try to play it.
Okay.
This is from Sammy Sam's Life on TikTok. Hang on. I don't really know how to operate this because I'm an old lady.
Well,
Okay,
I
here we go.
honestly am surprised. Hold
In
on.
this video. Spoiler alert if you aren't caught up on this
Can you hear
season
this?
of Love is Blind, but Ben and Sarah end up getting engaged. In the coming attractions
we know
for
that.
Love is Blind,
We know that.
see Sarah confront Ben about a TikTok video. Now, in that clip, I'm pretty sure they are referring to Andra's video. Andra made a video on March 2nd of last year and said the Love is Blind Minneapolis cast had been leaked to her and that she recognized one of the guys in the cast. And at this point, it has pretty much been confirmed that she was talking about Ben. In the video, she basically said that Ben was a manipulator and a liar, and that he didn't actually want to get married, he just wanted to be on television.
Okay.
So that wasn't the actual video, but it says what was in the video, which
We need to.
you kind of have to a little bit want to be on television to do this at all. But
Yeah.
Either way,
That's not enough for me yet.
About the-
Oh my goodness, I'm
I
sorry.
mean, I would say my ex is manipulative and all these things, but I mean, maybe he's not to the next girl. I don't know. You know, people do change and things like that, but
Well,
yeah,
and
I think
what was shady was his response, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
if she says he did whatever X, Y, and Z, I mean, I don't know what it was yet. We haven't seen the video. Maybe our opinions will change, but what was shady was his response about this whole thing was I don't remember. You don't remember 4 years ago? I know that I have dated a couple of people in my life, especially back in my college days, but I think if I sat down and thought about it hard enough, especially if my future husband was asking me a question about the situation in a serious way, I would probably remember unless I was hiding something.
Well, it's funny that all these exes are now being framed to like want clout or be on TV and stuff, but yeah, he doesn't even
That's
really give
kind of
like
an
straight
easy
answers.
dig.
And like if this is a 4 year, like if they haven't dated or talked to each other in 4 years, why would she be on TikTok crying about it? So I have questions, of course.
Yeah.
Then hopefully Ben will answer those next episodes drop, but yeah, it does seem a little bit weird and vague and stuff. I mean, I won't be surprised if one of these guys is really not here for the right reasons. Although I do not really have much of an issue with them as a couple. I don't really see enough of them as a couple to make like an actual judgment on whether or not I think they're a good couple. But I don't think I just think it's weird how all these TikToks are coming out before the season ever premiered and stuff. So how do they know who's on the cast list? How do they know about all this? Is this just like you said, just such a small town where the word is just going around like crazy? Like there must be something.
There's
in the
at
water.
least so if they're pulling from really around the city, and maybe not so much it's a small town, maybe it's like a busy town. What was it when they were in Washington or whatever, and they had to pull from like a whole nother state of people? Maybe a lot of people signed up for this show, so a lot of people were paying attention. And then, I mean, you have to take work off for a significant amount of time. And then if your boss likes to yap because it's your friends, like somebody like David seems to probably be close with a lot of his colleagues, you know, like those guys that go out and work and then they go out after at the bars and they all work together and play together and blah 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 blah, you know, those gross guys that David looks like. I think it's all kind of a brohood. And if somebody has to tell their boss, hey, I need all this time off because I'm going on a reality television show, sometimes you have to tell your work if you're going on a reality television show and get an okay. And if your boss wants to yap to all your friends about it or his friends about it, I think it's easy that it could get around. And all of a sudden, this group of 20 to 30 to 40 people are just missing out of the city at the same time. I think at least some of the people, it's probably pretty obvious that they're out there filming, they're asking for people in this city, and now this person has disappeared. Maybe
Right.
they're on Love is Blind. I mean, it's a stretch, but I could see them knowing. And
Well, it
social
could just
media is so, it makes everything feel even smaller.
It could just be mutual friends or something too. Like, you know, he might have mentioned it to a mutual friend who like knows his ex, I guess. But I don't know. Yeah.
User alien thought that his reaction was weird too. That's honestly what I think. He could have had so much room to explain so many things. He could have done all the manipulation and the horrible things and whatever, you know, up to a certain extent, and said, just like he said earlier, and she said, you know, I've changed. It's been 4 years. I've learned X, Y, and Z. These are my values now. I'm ready to get married,
Yeah.
whatever. And she would have ate that up and been like, you're such a great man. I love and respect you. Because that's all she said to him on vacation. So much she
Well,
loves and respects him.
what I thought was strange about the whole thing was if he saw this video circulating, why didn't he bring it up before she did as well? Because he said he saw it. He's like, oh yeah, I saw that.
And then he blocked her, which is even more shady to me. You don't want to be held
Mhm.
accountable. You don't want to ask, are you okay? If you're confused about how this happened because you don't remember, you're not going to ask, what have I done? What can I do to remedy this situation for you to take this down so that my reputation is not ruined? He's handling this all wrong. And I don't understand why she turns around and then says to him, I'm just going to trust you at your word. He gave no word. There's no word. I don't remember is not a word.
I don't remember that woman.
So didn't it end with, I mean, she kind of was saying she needs more information. Like, I need to know everything or something about this, which duh.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a thing now. Anything that's on social media is a thing. We're here talking about it now. Someone else on TikTok is talking about it. I think it's going to be a thing, and she's going to need to know everything, or she's going to be the last one to know, and they're never going to make it down the aisle then.
And Blue's thought is maybe the people from the pods who didn't go to Honduras went home and immediately spread the word. I could see that a little bit because in the next preview, we see Madison like deep diving into Mason. And we know that they were very active outside of the pods. It looks like they were doing all their own research before the cast party. So maybe they were. And if you think about it, Lauren and David were like 3 degrees separation from each other. So maybe all these people are a lot more connected than they think. So
that's what I mean. Everybody seems to have a couple of mutual friends, and sort of, you know, all these kind of networks seem to sort of network alongside each other. I'm scared to see what Madison has been up to with her pink hair. She was ready to come and light this place on fire. I feel like maybe Madison is the only reason they even aired this season, because maybe she's about to drop some crazy bombs. I don't know. I'm just hopeful. I'm just hopeful that she brings it with the pink hair.
Yeah.
Madison with the good hair, please come.
Well, and honestly, her storyline with Mason at this point is irrelevant if you think about it, because they didn't end up together and whatever. I mean, what are we really going to do about that? It's not like they're about to it's not like they're engaged or anything, if you think about it. I mean, I'd still want to hear the conclusion of it. I want to hear what she's got to say. But at the end of it all, it's really irrelevant when it comes to the rest of the season. Now, if she got something to say about Ben, I'm here to listen.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, I'm here to listen about Mason as well. I just... What does it say? How? And Blue says, how else would they know that Lauren was with David to connect the dots about their exes? True. I think that was weird. So actually, let's just go over to them. Let me remove that here, because we're done there. We're done there. Let's go over here.
Thanks, Blue.
Thank you, Blue, for that segue. We'll go over to Lauren and David now. In fact, this is pretty much my feelings on them. When they go to Mexico, or I keep wanting to say Mexico, but they're in Honduras. So when they go
we always call it Mexico.
When they went to Honduras, they had weird conversations about sleep the whole time. David decided to take a survey on everybody and see if they had X or not.
And about all their sleep patterns as well. I was losing my actual mind listening to episode after episode. Not only in the first episode, I understand when you're meeting people and you're kind of trying to figure out sleep patterns and whatever, but they just went on and on and on about how much she uses the restroom and how much she moves and if that's okay with him and on what side does he snore and how long does it take him to snore on that side. It was honestly mind numbing.
Yeah.
I was so freaked out. And then I learned that they weren't having sex, and so I'm like, is this the only thing that you guys have to talk about? Is the only intimacy you have is sharing a bed together, and so you just keep going back to what it's like to touch each other in bed. And you guys need to
Yeah.
take a page out of what Virginia and Devin's book. You guys need to build some other forms of intimacy, because if this is it when you're not having sex, then this is sad for both of you.
And
And
side note
they
for
don't
in-
even know what's to come when they get their phones back, and it's just going to drive a bigger wedge in between
Mhm.
them and their potential of having sex. And they both want to do that before they get married.
Well, you can tell it's really important to him. I mean, he's really surveying everybody. He's going around. He wants to make sure everybody ain't having sex, because if they're all having sex and he ain't having sex, it's gonna be a problem. But side note for In Blue, didn't it look like Meg and Mason walked in together in the preview? You know what? I kind of peeped that, but I did for a second. I was like, okay, but maybe they just showed up at the same time. I don't really know, but
Well, so I know sometimes they sort of allow people in batches. I don't think these people are actually just walking into the bar when they show up. I
Mhm.
think production is telling them when to walk in at a specific time when people start mentioning their names. I know that happened last season at the cast party. It was like as soon as Jessica got mentioned or something like that, then here comes people all over the place.
yeah.
It's
You,
they set people up on this show for sure.
User Alien says this couple isn't going to make it. They have been having the same argument for 3 episodes. Yeah, and I think there's a lot, I think there's a reason for that. I think there's definitely more to that argument, and that's why it lasted so long, because I couldn't get over that fact either. I'm like, why are you still on this? Like, I don't okay.
He couldn't figure it out at the end. Lauren, she's getting frustrated. It sounds like he hasn't been sleeping there.
No, he hasn't been.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, he hasn't been. He left a couple times, I think.
Because of this whole confusion about who she hooked up with before they met.
I feel it's a little strange that he's holding on to that so hard. Like,
I don't even get the problem, to be honest. Maybe I am a little flexible, and I know I'm not very jealous honestly at all. I mean, especially outside of the boundaries of my relationship, but I would not care if she slept with somebody the day before she left. If she came on there to get married, she came on there to get married. It's not like you progress into wanting a commitment through relationships. You just decide you meet the person you want to commit to sometimes, and then that's who you commit to. You don't have to have had a long time without a relationship or been in a relationship a long time, although I think you should have been in at least one, Molly.
and
apparently she was.
Well, it was a situationship. It wasn't a real relationship. It was a long-term situationship. He clarified that. But which I've been in those. Those are real.
I mean, me too, but
yeah, but when it comes to them, Lauren and David, I think I maybe would be put back a little bit by it, just because it does almost feel a little disingenuous to be hooking up with someone right before going to get married, because marriage is a serious thing. If you're really going to sign up for that and you take it seriously, it is for life, and you want to make sure the other person is actually serious about it.
yeah,
So
but
if you are
not before you know who you're signing up for it for. I mean, a lot of these people don't get engaged or married. Most of them, in fact, don't get engaged. You're going on an experiment to see if you might find someone that at the end of the engagement you might get married to. The chances are truly this big.
Oh yeah.
I would not put my life on hold,
but
just because of the possibility.
If the thing was that she was actually seeing this guy for a few months, I could see where that might put somebody off. Like, it wasn't just like a random hookup or anything. And if you are really ready to go on the show and get married, you got to know that this stuff's going to come out right before, during this process in a way. So
definitely. And it does depend on what type of relationship was going on. But according to her, this was a very casual relationship where it was very like open that the two of them were not going to get married. So, I mean, we all have needs. I don't understand.
Yeah, I think the problem might be that she might not have been honest about it in the pods. It might have just came out after. And that's where I would have an issue with it. Like if she came in the pods and said, I've been hooking up with people, a little bit here and there. I got a little hookup buddy back at home. But I'm done with it and whatever. If she would have said all that in the pods, that would have been.
Well, she definitely shouldn't have ghosted this ex. I think and Blue had said that the ex is definitely fueling the fire. I think that that's very true, and that probably wouldn't have happened if she made a clear boundary. And that's what I think would rightfully be concerning to Devin, is that she still has yet to make a clear boundary. But I think some of the problem with that was, I thought I heard when they came back from Honduras that he had said she was going to get a different phone with a different phone number. As in,
a little weird.
I thought it was very weird and very controlling. Maybe that's the way that she tried to resolve maybe any of his emotions or worries that they might talk to each other, but that's called trust, and that's the foundation that you start to build right away. So I thought that was a little bit weird, and I thought that prevented her, if she had ever any opportunity to truly cut it off with him, that prevented her from doing that. I guess with the new phone number, she could have reached out, but then he has the new phone number. So what's the point? So I just think she should have turned around, came back with her engagement and said, hi, I'm sorry, I'm engaged now. I hope you have a great life. I'm going to block your number just for, trust purposes. See you later. And all this could have, I think, been avoided. But she didn't do that. And that's kind of shady. It seems like it's giving I was running away.
And that's not a good way to resolve a relationship either. Honestly, that would be a little bit of a red flag to me as well. Do you think a little bit that maybe David's holding on to it so hard because he's really not as into her as he thought?
Yes, I do also think that as well. I think it's a good excuse to make it her fault.
Or just, blow it up a little bit more. Because I know that, what bothers him is that when he first called everybody to be like, oh my gosh, I'm engaged, everybody already knew about her. They already knew she had an ex. Her ex was friends with his friends. I do find that a little bit weird that they're that close in separation. Like, they really could have met each other outside of this damn thing. But the sister...
What made me really think that that could be the case, that maybe he's using this kind of as a good excuse maybe to say no in the end, is because when she really got tired of this and she said, okay, I want to talk to your friends. I want to squash all of this. I want to talk face to face and get all this kind of clear the air so we can move on. Because let's be real, they're not ever going to have X if this keeps going on, and time is a ticking. I mean, we don't like to put urgency on this kind of sensitive topic, but time is a ticking. So she's like, let's bring the friends.
Especially when this man looks 40 years old to begin with. I mean, he's a year younger than my husband, and he looks about.
We got to make sure the things work properly, okay? So anyways, time is a ticking. She says, let's bring your friends over. I am very tired of this whole back and forth. You are going to have to let this go. If I need to talk to your friends and we need to really suss out all the information, let's do that. So she is planning and preparing. Seems like there's even maybe some snacks and stuff out ready for his friends to come over. And then he goes, oh, my friends are on standby. And she's like, the fuck you mean standby? Aren't they coming over? And he goes, oh, well, I just wanted to see how things were going to go with you and I on this talk. They have been talking about this for days, which in Love is Blind is weeks, maybe months.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he even introduced the idea that my friends might not come over because what I'm about to say might not go well. And then he proceeded to not say anything new about the situation and just kept saying, I feel uncomfortable that this happened. And it's like, she can't change what happened. She can't change the past. She seems to have been honest enough about it with him. She's not been honest about it with this ex, but she's gotten a new phone number. She's committed to you. She's not the one who's leaving the apartment every single night to go hang out with God knows who.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think he's going to hang out with his bros. He's probably got some other chick on the side too. That's why he's projecting all this craziness onto her.
That's what I'm wondering.
It's just wild. And so the fact that by the end of this, he riled her up so much, had her so emotional, well, what do you think we should do now about my friends? We probably just shouldn't have them over, huh? So it's like he purposefully got in the way of this even getting resolved between his friends and her, because he just started an argument with her. And then he gets to text his friends and say, oh, well, yep, we're arguing about this again. And that's our thing. All we do is argue about this again. So I'm just going to come over by myself and we'll just talk a bunch of shit about it again. And you guys can fill my brain with all this nonsense. I don't like it.
No, I agree. I also found it interesting that when they saw her friends were like, dude, I know this guy. He messaged me saying, I want to blow this wedding up. It does sound like this ex does want to be on TV along with these other people, honestly. It sounds like everybody in this
I don't think her friends honestly did her a good enough justice. I felt like their story. I think that they defended her well, but I thought that their story was just very hollow. Like, well, if they were dating, we would have hung out with them and blah, 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 which probably is true, but that doesn't give dates and facts kind of reassurance. Like, you know, we haven't seen her date someone since this day. I don't know. I just felt like her friends almost made it worse for her, in my opinion.
A little bit. Watching. It felt like they were angry about the situation. Like, they're like, I know her. I was with her. But then again, she did still hook up with that other guy that weekend. They're like, no, she wasn't with him.
True. And PF, I think, is about to bring this up too. He was so upset she wouldn't have sex with him that he held on to this to avoid her, in my opinion. Yeah.
In a sense. I don't know about the word avoid, but it might have been some... I do think he was upset that they didn't hook up in the vacation.
Well, he certainly brought that up, right? That obviously she was hooking up with this guy right before she came on. And yet,
so what's the problem hooking up with
the
it?
thing she was in it, I thought that was so weird. So she said she was really looking forward to doing that, but she got a bikini wax, and I don't get bikini waxes, so maybe you can help me understand since you have all the knowledge about that, like actually, not just from getting them. Can you not do that 24 hours after? Is that
you
true?
Shouldn't. You shouldn't get if you got your hoo-ha waxed, you really should give it at least 24 hours because all those pores are open. So
right.
what happens?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So what happens is you'll probably break out. I mean, you can, but you risk
you're not gonna die, but it might. You might get some burning and some.
Like your pores are still really open. In fact, like you shouldn't work out or anything after you get a wax as well.
That's what she said that as well. It seemed like that did kill the vibe right away. But they never did that again after that, and it has been over a week at this point. And so I could see how knowing that she was there with someone else just a couple of weeks ago, but hasn't gotten there with him yet. And now more and more, it looks like they might not even get there before their wedding day, which to me, I don't think I could say yes without knowing if everything's working properly. Maybe I'm just wild and a sleazy, but I need to make sure it's all working properly.
Oh yeah, you really gotta test it. I mean, not everybody's done it. I mean, remember Ashley last season didn't do that, but
true.
She should. Although if she would, she probably would have pregnant.
I mean, let's be glad that worked out that way.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the sex part of their relationship is a little funky to me. I think he's a little bit too obsessed with it, but
yeah, I wish you're not so okay, we have lots of thoughts about this.
Oh, wow. Okay. You're not supposed to swim or in it or jacuzzi, which she did. You should stay away from it. Yeah. Like you don't want to, the thing with the jacuzzi is it's not about the water because you can take a bath, but you just don't want it to be that hot. It's the heat part of it. Like even swimming in a pool, like you got chlorine and chemicals and stuff. And that's why you don't want to do that either. Same thing with like the ocean, like there's all types of bacteria and shit in the ocean.
That makes sense.
So that's why you don't want to be in the water like that. Like if you're in a bath, sure, but you still even want to wait a few hours probably to take a bath because those, like I said, those pores are open. So you can close them with like cold water and stuff like that, but most people don't
Right.
want to take like a cold water bath or shower. And you can do that. You definitely don't want to tan. You just want to be careful when it comes to that area, because if you irritate that area, like we all know, if you got a hoo-ha, like it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. Like you just
want to keep the hoo-ha calm, happy,
calm and clear.
Clear.
PF819 says, I thought the wax was an excuse, so thanks for clearing that up. Yeah,
I was wondering that too. But Anne has the knowledge on wax and all things waxing.
Yeah, guys, I got an esthetician license. Anyway, and I've gotten many Brazilian and,
You have, yes. Both personal and professional knowledge.
So much experience.
Which I have none of in those areas. But
yeah, you do want to avoid you want to avoid pretty much any kind of friction in that area as well. So Fee wasn't wrong in saying that, but I think they could have did it like the next day. It really is only like 24 hours. You gotta be mindful.
So it felt really awkward to me because I think the next day he was I couldn't tell if that was that night or if it was the next day, but they were in the bed in the hotel, and I felt like he was trying to, when they were just staring into each other's eyes in bed endlessly and kissing, and he was rubbing up on her and she just kept giggling all weird. That made me feel so uncomfortable and awkward. I don't know. I know they're still adjusting at that point to the cameras being around and there being humans behind the cameras. And that must be incredibly awkward to be cuddled up in bed and have somebody trying to maybe, get things started with you. And you don't know, are you supposed to get up and ask the cameras to leave? Or are they just going to leave when things get spicy? I mean, how does that work?
Or do they film it?
They film it.
They just film it and don't air it.
You remember how they used to do the shower scenes and stuff too? So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've heard people from past seasons say how awkward those shower scenes were, like how they
didn't do it. They did have a couple prolonged makeout sessions, like this one in the bed, and then I think Virginia and Devin had one to, I think a Justin Bieber song too.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, do you think Netflix got a bigger budget because they got all these actual songs in here?
Yes,
and you know what?
They are raking in $25 a month from me. It's wild.
But you know what was interesting? When they played that Ariana Grande song, I felt like I was watching a music video between Devin and what's her name. Like that just went on for too long.
It's like a softcore porn. They have had some bops this season. They had Billie Eilish.
Yeah, they got a bigger budget. Remember how weird their songs used to be? Like,
oh, they played some weird ones. They played a weird one at the end of this about who's being honest or truthful. They always have those songs that just
are too real.
The stupid situation that's going on. Like they must. I feel like sometimes they just have someone sing about it. It's not even a real song. They just have a vocalist.
They create a song for the situation.
Like it's almost like a musical. That's what it was feeling like the last 2 seasons. So I'm really happy at least once in a while to hear, oh yeah, Miley Cyrus is the other one they had.
Yeah, they did Wrecking Ball, I think. Those ads that show up on like Facebook and stuff where it'll be like a personalized song. Like you'll hear like, I met you at a bus stop in Clear. And then like the guy will be like tearing up and stuff like that. I don't know if you've ever seen those ads.
I did. I actually just saw this like 2 days ago. So
that's what it's giving for me. I think you're right at when they make these songs.
I think you're right.
Now it's all coming full circle to me. But
that is why that was invented, and now it's available for public use.
Exactly. So I think during those honeymoon, I guess is what I call like the vacation or whatever, during the honeymoon scenes, the music was so loud half the time I couldn't even hear what people were saying. They were trying to cut them off with the music, and it would be so loud. And I'm like, what are they saying? And I had to put subtitles on because I'm like, I don't know what they're saying.
Oh man, do we sound old? I feel like we're old. The music is too loud.
I mean, I'm old, but I don't look as old as homeboy over here. He looks about 45. I didn't realize he's about my age. No.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be like 38. No, this man is 32 at the moment of this filming, and I'm 32 now, so he's only about a year-ish older than me.
This is correct.
And he looks like he could be my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And
So, is that it with Lauren and Dave here?
yeah, do you guys got any more thoughts in Blue or PF? Anything we didn't touch on that y'all want to go over? User Alien, if you're still around. Yeah, what do we think for predictions?
So my predictions so far are that obviously I do not think that Dave and what's her lady?
Mm-hmm.
What is her lady?
Dave and Lauren.
Yeah, Dave and Lauren. Thank you. Goodness gracious. I don't think Dave and Lauren are going to get there. I think they could have gotten there if he maybe could have found a way to get past it, but I don't think in 2 episodes they're going to figure out a way past this and then figure out intimacy and then build trust and then do all the things. So I think they're going to drop out pretty soon, actually.
I think so too.
I think she might even pull the trigger because she
Well, you know what? In the preview, she said it was the day of their wedding and he wasn't answering her. So maybe they do make
You're
it to
right.
the wedding.
And the messages turn to different color. Dave, oh, here. So PF says Dave and Molly are going to hook up for sure. I think like Sarah and Jeremy. Heh. I thought about that when she was
That's such
talking,
a good point, honestly.
when she was
I
talking
didn't
about
even-
the messages changing, because apparently that happened right before the cast meetup, or at least that's the way they were kind of building it up, and that he left for the night and then his messages were green and then we're at a wedding that may or may not happen. So I guess they are not dropping out soon. I wanted Lauren to choose herself, but she's going to take it all the way to the wedding day, which I'm here for, because I said from the beginning I'm here for the drama.
Yeah. But you know what? The Sarah and Jeremy connection is pretty accurate, I think. You know,
Molly is such a Sarah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he has been sleeping at his own apartment. It even ended similar. Do you remember how Jeremy and Sarah ended all weird? Like, oh, maybe I'll see you on the other side. Like,
yeah.
See you later.
Totally.
It was kind of similar to that. It was giving the same vibe. So I'm really glad you brought that up, PF, because, yeah, I never even made that connection, honestly. Like, that's a really, really good connection there because it's very similar, especially because he hasn't even been sleeping there half the time.
Right. It did cross my mind when I saw that, but I kind of forgot that connection, especially the similarity to Sarah and Jeremy. So true. Also, N Blue says, I want Joey and Monica to get married, but I don't think so. The preview started talking about how she might like him more than he likes her. I saw that as well. And I have a feeling that they'll get married. I think they're trying to just scare us. You know, whenever there's a slam dunk couple, they try to scare us a little bit.
Yeah, I think maybe she feels that way a little bit, but she might be overthinking.
Yeah,
and maybe she talks to him about it. I hope that that's the situation.
I think she like
also.
I think this could be a cut of her saying, "I'm worried that I like him more than he likes me," and they just took that part out. And maybe she was talking to a friend about it. So I'm always so sus of these previews. They do get me excited, and I care about them, of course. But I mean, they could make it sound like anything's going to happen, and it never really does.
Yeah, they do that a lot with us. And just like they did with Daniel and Taylor. I mean, we really were like, a lot of people were jumping on that bandwagon of, oh, he's a stalker. I've seen so many videos actually of content creators just like, oh, yeah, he must have stalked her. Or we're getting our first Love is Blind stalker and things like that, which no, we're not. Remember Uche, you guys. Like, we can't forget Uche.
I know. And he's not even close to that diabolical. I don't even know if he's that intelligent in that way. I'm not trying to say that he's dumb, but I don't think he's that manipulative and intelligent in that kind of way. So I don't know.
Was stalking those people though. He was
he was so weird.
He was like, I always just think of, there was this video that was going around making fun of Uche and Milton's conversation where Uche's saying all this stuff and then Milton does his little dance where it's just the funniest video. I watch it every now and then where he's just like going on like, oh, well, you're going in this direction and I'm going in this direction and Lydia's in a different direction.
I think think he was talking about dimensions even, or I don't know. But yeah, I remember that too. I love that man. That
He
man
was great.
is a
I wonder how they're
golden.
doing.
Yeah,
But
the last checkup I heard it was probably over a year ago, but they were living separately still.
I'm not shocked. But yeah, so any other predictions, you guys? I do think that Taylor and Daniel will end up getting married. I think even just by the interview that you were talking about alone kind of convinces me that they'll get married. And I think they're a good match, honestly.
They have become one of my very favorites in the last 3 episodes for sure.
He's got that Timu Leonardo DiCaprio vibe. So
yeah. No,
but
he's
way
still
better.
giving Wolf of Wall Street to me for some reason, which is not a green flag by any means, but I don't know. I guess wholesome Wolf of Wall Street, is that a thing?
I'd say
It's
he's
not
at
a
least a little bit more emotionally stable than Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, that man's still dating like 13-year-olds or something. Like 19, I should say.
All of that. Nothing like Leonardo DiCaprio. It's just giving for some reason. But
It's just his face.
yeah, but I do want them to get married as well. I think they've always been my favorite couple, especially Taylor. For some reason, I'm kind of drawn to her. I really like her. But I was worried they wouldn't make it on vacation. But now they're my favorite, and I think they're going to make it. And I think they're going to be, married for just about ever.
And I actually think Devin and Virginia might make it out too. I don't see any drama with them in the previews. Did you? I don't remember them in the previews very much. When you don't see a couple very often, that means it's going really well. So.
My husband's going to be coming home.
Well, we're about to be about done. So, any other predictions before we go, or anything that we missed that you guys want to discuss? Oh my gosh!
Sorry for the barking.
But yeah, I mean, I think that we were fed a nothing burger. Say hi. You're live.
We're live.
We're live.
Uh-huh.
So I think we were fed a nothing burger with Taylor and stuff, but oh yeah, that's Brooke's dog. I think we were fed a nothing burger with Taylor and Daniel at the beginning, and I think it's gonna be the same with half of the season. I'm more interested to see what happens with Lauren and David and how that tragically goes down, because I think it's going to be tragic.
I think so too. And I also think it's going to be dumb. So I think I'm going to be frustrated about it. I'm sure I'll have a lot to say.
One more thing actually about them. No.
And another thing.
One more thing. Wasn't it a little weird that her ex is living in the same building? Did Netflix do that on purpose?
Didn't they do that on purpose? What was it that we just watched? Where dude was out on the bench.
Ultimatum. They put them all right next to each other, yeah.
On top of each other. No, I don't think they did that on purpose. I don't know if they would have known, but what an evil coincidence.
Isn't that crazy? Imagine running into that man in the hallway and
I think that that's even more so, if she wanted to be with that man, she would be with that man. He's right down the hallway or down the street or whatever. He's a walk away.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be with that man. She wants to get married. So I know he has some kind of weird insecurity.
Here's the thing. We always are sussing these guys for whatever, but maybe some of the girls don't have the best of intentions. I'd like to think she does, but some of this is a little strange for me.
True.
I think they're both not each other's person, and I will be shocked. I mean, I think he's doing the right thing by ghosting her on the wedding day because I don't think it's a good match.
But not like that if he hooks up with
not like that. Although I do think it's going to end up like a Jeremy Sarah situation.
She deserves that just for literally living her life before she went on a reality television show. I don't
think so either, but I think that it will be used against her, and I think it's like you said, like more of an excuse. At some point it will be more of that.
There are a lot of weird coincidences this season, PF, you're right.
Yeah, I think it's so strange that guy is in the apartment.
Yeah.
Another hit, and Blue says...
we keep trying to explain
it. Sorry, and Blue. All right. Can we just do it again? I'm done with you. Okay, so and Blue says, I thought the same thing. Another hit to David's ego. Yep. I think so. I think it is a hit to his ego, and I think that's why he becomes infatuated again with Molly. I mean, they really ended on weird terms, just like Jeremy and Sarah. And now that I've made this Jeremy and Sarah connection, I don't know if I'm going to let it go, because I think that my suspicion. Okay, I'm gonna have a suspicion. It's a suspicion.
I'm gonna be brewing it up all week.
Oh yeah, I have a suspicion
Myself.
that Molly was probably at David's house when he started ghosting other girl. I mean, it seems like he's upset that, you know, at first it was like, oh, Molly's never been in a relationship before, so that's a little bit strange. But at the same time, he's upset that Lauren has been in relationships so close. So what do you want, dude? You know?
Yeah.
And I would be put off by Molly never being in a relationship. How do you know you want to get married right now?
Right.
When you've never even been in a long-term actual relationship.
That part is weirder to me than even hooking up with somebody a couple days or a week before going on a show that you're not sure if you're going to get married or not on.
And do you think that it went around that David and her haven't been intimate? So like, because you know, David was surveying everybody, so I'm sure like things went around.
I'm sure he was talking to his friends. He probably, as soon as he got his phone back, he said, "I have a fiance that I have not had sex with yet." Sit.
And I think that what's her name, Molly, might have caught wind of that, and that's why one of the first things she's asking about is, "Well, have you had sex yet?" And then her little curly
shoulders showing, her hair a curling, ready
she's
to
got it up already. Like she's got it up already. Like she's ready to go to town with him. You know.
She called him her husband the first day. She's there to forget her man.
Yep.
I'm here for it. I mean, I feel bad, but I'm here for it.
I do have a feeling that we're going to find out the reunion that like they dated or they are dating or they seen each other or whatever. I just have a feeling it's going to end up similar to Jeremy and Sarah, and I don't think they're going to last either, but you know.
True.
Love is blind, but it ain't dumb.
That one.
Right? Or at least I ain't dumb.
So, well, I think we're about wrapping up here.
I think we went over pretty much everybody and everything in these last couple episodes. They were really hard for me to get to. I did fall asleep at one point in the episodes. My husband had to be like, "Girl, wake up. Like, you got to know what you're talking about on your live today." And that just shows how really it's been like pretty much a snooze fest. I appreciate the little bit of drama we did get. But man, did they drag some of this out. Like the X thing and David, it just feels like it's been dragged out for 2 weeks.
I think that really is kind of the only little bit of drama. And I don't know if maybe I'm just in a better mood today when I was watching it, but I was starting to sort of appreciate that this is a very loving season. Everybody does really seem to be in love and be happy and seem to have good matches. I honestly think that maybe even David and what's her name could have gotten there if all this drama didn't happen to them. So I think that this season is about love, which is cute, but it's not as entertaining, especially after season 8. I mean, I can see how you were bored. I'm pretty sure what's to come. I mean, not necessarily in the trailer. We all saw that, so I'm not going to really go over that, but I think there's 3 more episodes, and that's going to be like the more family meetings, obviously, and then, you know, getting the dresses and the bachelorette parties. And then I believe they're dropping 2 episodes after that. And I think that will be the weddings and the reunion, or just the weddings. I'm not sure. Sometimes they do the reunion live and they don't schedule it. But based on last season, there were 12 episodes. And this season, there are 12 episodes. And the 12th episode last season was the reunion. So it's possible that they could drop the wedding and the reunion at the same time, which I would prefer, because then we could just get on here and get right to it with you guys.
So I don't know. Do they always already have them listed, or do they ever add an extra episode at the end?
Sometimes they add an extra episode, but that's why I went back and looked at last season, because episode 12 last season was the reunion. Otherwise, if they added an extra episode, it probably would have been episode 13 would have been the reunion.
Yeah, because here it looks like we have 13 episodes, but it says 10, 11, and 12 drop next week. And then 13 drops the week after that. So I'm wondering, because like, did they already film the reunion? Because usually someone will post their outfits and stuff like that. But
Well, whether it's filmed or not, they're still gonna hold that space. That's just a thumbnail. It doesn't even have like.
I know. So I'm curious.
They're
I
they're
mean,
definitely going to film it, so it's definitely planned for.
usually they make you wait an extra week for those weddings, though. So I would be shocked if episode 12 is the wedding show. But
Oh
you
my
know,
gosh, they just showed an episode 13.
yeah.
That literally was not there this
Oh,
morning.
you
when I
didn't
looked
see
at it.
that. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. Yeah.
So when I looked at it this morning, it just showed that the 2 episode. Or wait, now I'm just confused.
Now we're confused, but yeah, so apparently they're going to be dropping 3 episodes on the 28th, and then we get one more on March 7th. And I don't know if that's the reunion or if it's the weddings, but I guess we'll find out.
Sorry, y'all. I thought I had this all figured out. So 13 was the reunion last season. Maybe that's what I thought was going on. I don't know. Don't listen to me. We're all here for the ride.
We're just here. All right, you guys. Well, thank you guys for joining us, especially the N Blue PF.
Are we gonna get weddings next week then?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, I'll be shocked if episode 12 is the weddings, because that means that we're getting weddings next week. But I feel like, I don't know. I'm confused by it, so I guess we'll see. We might.
If they follow last season.
Well, that's why I asked you if they ever add one at the end, like after, you know.
They do sometimes, so it's possible there could be 14 total. They could have extended this season, but
who knows? I don't know for what reason they would extend it, but you know, to each their own.
It was 6 episodes in the damn pod.
Oh my gosh, 6 episodes of the pods was just too much for me. But all right, well, thank you guys for joining us, especially Blue, PF, User Alien. You're always here, so we enjoy your guys' commentary.
It was really fun chatting with you all and getting your feedback about how you feel. This season has been a little bit tough to get through as far as entertainment wise and things like that. So it's really nice to chat with you all about it to get us through season 8.
It did get better with this episode drop, though, with the dramas and stuff. And I think next episode drop will be really good.
Yes, I think we're just climbing the excitement wheel here.
All for the reunion. We all love the reunions. But definitely keep us in mind. We'll be back next Friday around the same time to go live with you guys again to talk about the latest season drop. And if you're new here, please subscribe. Remember to share. If you just even just hit the share button, copy link, that helps us a lot. You don't even have to actually share. Just hit that copy link, and that'll get us in the atmosphere, in the algorithm. Please also like the video.
If you're ever wondering what we mean when I say that, it's this button, the share, and then it comes up down here, and you just click copy link, and it says copied, and that helps us so ridiculously much. So thank you so much for popping in. Ann and I are going to argue about how we're going to put these hearts up here.
We keep hitting them at the same time we keep hitting the comment to show it, and it's just,
and then we unshow it. So but we're eager to talk with you guys and put your comments up. So we love that you guys come and interact. Like we said, please don't forget to share and just click that copy link button. It helps to get the YouTube video shared in other people's streams.
And we hope to see you guys back next week. We do like the banter. In fact, we learned some things from you guys. Some of your ideas are great. I love that Sarah and Jeremy connection. I love some of the things that N Blue said about David. And I think I really like to banter with you guys. I like the back and forth. It makes it a lot more fun for us.
Yes,
because we talk to each other all day long, but it's nice to get a little bit more input.
Yeah, that's part of the reason that we did this. So we're happy to have you all. We're excited to see you next week, see where Love is Blind takes us. I do think that we are approaching more exciting things to come, possibly a wedding. I don't know.
Maybe.
A couple weddings. I mean, but okay. So we'll see you next week.
See you next week, Chick Chat. Bye-bye.
Bye.